Welcome to A Few Minutes with the CEO. My name is Al O'Grady, and for the next few minutes, we'll be talking to the President and CEO of Geologix Explorations, Mr. Dunham Craig. Now, Geologix Explorations is a mineral exploration company focused on acquiring and developing projects that have world-class potential. The company's focus is on the Tipal gold-copper project located in Mexico. The date of today's recording is Tuesday, January 31st. Just 2 weeks ago, the company had a press release about some of the latest developments with Tipal. We'll be talking more about that and also what's going on with the company in just a moment. Geologix Explorations trades on the TSX under the symbol GIX. Mr. Craig, thanks for joining us.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Dunham, as I said in my introduction, you had a press release not that long ago about some drill results at Tipal. Walk us through this. Give us the highlights, some of the numbers, and really more importantly, what it all means not only for the company, but for the shareholders as well.
Well, I think a little bit of a lead into that is that we're into a pre-feasibility study on this project right now. We've done quite a bit of exploration on it in the last 20 months. We feel we have an economically viable project to produce gold and copper. And so we were doing expansion drilling on these zones to test them out to see how big they are. And lo and behold, underneath one of our zones called the South Zone, we intersected long intervals over 100 meters of triple the grade that we found in the South Zone that we had calculated a resource on. So this was a bit of a surprise to us. We had a bit of a sniff test that we knew something was going on down there. That's why we targeted the drills down there, and lo and behold, wham, we hit right into it. So the upside to that is when you increase your average grades, of which we feel are already economic, with triple the grades, obviously it's a considerable benefit to the project and to the company.
You know, Dunham, I like how you called it your sniff test. There's an old saying, you have to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good. Were you playing a hunch? Was it an educated guess? Was it just good pre-planning or all the above?
Well, when we got the project 20 months ago, we acquired it on a purchase basis. It always takes a while to figure out what the heck is going on, and so geology does not just tell you the story on day one. We've been testing and doing our science and looking at it. We've been understanding how these mineral control systems work, and so we had an idea that it was down there and that we should test it, but we didn't have any expectations it would be as dramatic as it is.
Okay, now for the sake of the geologist type, as part of our listening audience, do you want to get a little bit more technical in terms of what you found, in terms of grades and percentages and things like that?
Yeah, what we have there is a gold-copper porphyry system. These are typical systems of the largest mines in the world, you know, Freeport-McMoRan and the big open pits that you see down in the United States, you know, pictures from the satellite type of thing. These are a porphyry system that comes intruding up through the crust of the earth, and they're generally large tonnage type deposits, and within those are systems that control mineralization that are generally higher grade. So when you're working on these things, you look for those type of control systems, and once we sort of felt we had a trend of where that might be coming, that's why we targeted the drills in that direction.
Okay, let's take a step back, if you will. Big picture time. Give us some of the background, maybe some of the history, and really why you're so bullish on this Tipal project.
Well, when we got the project, our vice president of exploration comes from BHP Billiton. He's that's one of the largest mining companies in the world. I actually think it is the biggest one. And he's a porphyry systems expert. That's what he did for them for 18 years. When he came onto the project, we knew there was a couple of zones that were mineralized, but he identified right on day one that these are multiple system type of geological environments, and that we would find other zones and other pits to build large tonnage in short order. And sure enough, after we started on the project, in 9 months, we discovered a brand new zone called Zate. We had then a preliminary economic assessment done by an independent engineer, and it was economic. So we doubled the tons on this project in less than a year. We've fallen back again, drilled that off to economic levels, and we've done more work around that area. And lo and behold, we're finding another zones, actually several zones, that have similar signatures and footprints. So we feel there's a tremendous opportunity to grow this even bigger than what we've done in the last 20 months.
You mentioned you've done a preliminary economic assessment. I'm curious as to what price you might have used as far as the gold price is concerned. I mean, obviously, as gold prices continue to rise, that only makes your economic assessment even that much healthier, if you will.
When we start doing our work, for a preliminary economic assessment, we actually hand it off to a third party. It's independently done. They set the gold price at $1,000 for a study that was produced in April 2011. That produced a net project value at 5% discount of $412 million. And if you crank that up to the level of where gold price is today at spot, that means our net project value is almost $1 billion today. So we're very highly leveraged to gold price and to copper price.
Oh, absolutely. And obviously, you just summed it up nicely as to why you're so bullish on that. Okay, Dunham, we've talked a little bit about the past and the present, so let's do some crystal ball gazing in terms of the future. Where do you go from here? Maybe you can kind of outline your goals and plans, short term, the next 3 months, and maybe longer term perspective, the next 3 to 5 years.
I'll start off with longer term and then sort of describe how we're going to get there. What we're looking at right now is we're in a pre-feasibility study. We found that the market, the investing market, because of the volatility in the markets and concern over longevity of an investment and stability, that we sequentially go through and we do economic studies almost every 6 months to a year to give the property a core value to the investor that they can see. This gives them a security baseline of what that project is worth at a point in time. We're marching through that right now. We'll put out a pre-feasibility level study in May, June of this year. That's another point valuation. We're making the project bigger, higher throughput. We estimate we'll be up over 100,000 ounces of gold in production per year, plus over 56 million pounds of copper. That's a very robust target, very attractive to a takeover situation by a mid-tier or major company. That's one prong of what we're doing. At the same time, we're capable of putting it into production. I've gone through the process of putting 2 mines in production in my career. I've lived on site for 2 years, pouring concrete and welding steel, putting it together with over 400 employees under my direction. So I know what it takes, and so the flip side of it is that if we take it all the way through to production, that'll be a decision that the board of directors will have to make because the cash flow out of this project is very robust and very strong. It creates a cornerstone foundation for building a mid-tier on upwards type of company. Almost all mid-tier companies today started off with one project, got that going, got the cash flow going, that generated the growth profile to their going up the ladder towards a large mid-tier or a major company.
Okay, sounds like just getting that rock down the hill. It just picks up momentum, and you've got a runaway train almost.
Exactly. The whole key to the issue is finding that one cornerstone that's solid and robust.
Right. This isn't just a gold project, as you had mentioned. You've got copper there as well. I'm curious, how important is the copper element to the story? I mean, is it gravy, or is it a vital component and integral as part of the whole project?
It's all basically making cash. That's kind of what we're about, is what makes money. So on our revenue stream on this project, it's about half copper and half gold. So if you look at it in a dollar value basis. So if one way of looking at it is, which is very common with gold producers today, is saying, okay, if we make an ounce of gold and the copper contributes to the covering the cost of making that ounce of gold, then what's the proportion of that and what's your cost to make an ounce of gold? In April, our study with our independent engineer came up with that we'll make over 1 million ounces of physical gold, and our cost to that will be negative $300 an ounce.
That's an interesting perspective, having a negative cost.
That's common. Goldcorp has several mines that they've got that have a copper component to them. Their latest one that they announced they were going to spend $3.6 billion on actually makes an ounce of gold at negative $700 an ounce.
Is that right?
Because the copper component is, the revenue from the copper covers all the costs of production of that ounce of gold.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Not only is it costing you nothing, it's actually you're making money in order to actually produce something.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Dunham, great discussion. Interesting points here. That's it as far as the formal questions are concerned. As always, my guest gets the last word. Any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to add right now?
No, I think we're on track. We have a plan. We have an extraordinary board of directors in this company, as can be witnessed on our website. We are formulating to create shareholder value on a slow step-by-step function where we can give them value that's you can analyze on any given point in time as to a core value, and then going through the growth side of that to make it bigger and create even more shareholder value on that basis. So we're conservatively run that way. We're not pie-in-the-sky type of people. We're more going along step by step to making sure that the shareholder is protected on the downside and assures a large upside to the project at the same time.
All right. On that note, Dunham, I want to thank you very much for your time and sharing your thoughts with us about Geologix Explorations.
Hey, and thanks very much, Al. I appreciate the time.
Okay. And Geologix Explorations trades on the TSX under the symbol GIX. And you've been listening to Mr. Dunham Craig, President and CEO of Geologix Explorations, on A Few Minutes with the CEO, produced by RBL Communications. I'm Al O'Grady. Thanks very much for joining us.